Have you guys seen my recent post about the scarcity of Pulsex and PLS? They're actually pretty scarce, to tell you the truth. I went to just the Pulsex decks, and I just went into DAI versus PLS and DAI versus PLSX, and I just started putting in ones, and then I started adding zeros, and just to see like how much PLS was on the decks that could be like extracted from it. And with like $6 billion, you could only extract 119 billion PLS. So that means there's only 119 billion. And to me, that makes me think only 119 people can get like a billion PLS. And the first billion, I'm not sure what it is exactly right now. Let me go to it. But yesterday, it's about $12,000 for the next person to buy a billion. $12,000 and only 120 people can get that. That seems pretty scarce.
I mean, the chain's like notoriously thin right now too.
It is. It's super thin.
Bro, I'm pretty sure Hex has less liquidity than a meme coin on Ethereum that is at 15 mil market cap.
Yeah, to buy a billion PLS, it's only $11,648, and only about 100 people can get that, and even not even 100 people.
Yeah, I mean, at the price you're talking, right? You're talking at 11K per billion. Yeah, sure, only a certain amount of people can buy that, but then the price always goes against people,
Well,
right? So
technically, only one person can buy it. The next person is going
yeah,
to have to
it's a
spend a little bit
pie
more.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like a ladder, right? And then it goes the same way selling as well. No one can sell at the same price. And liquidity is exponentially thin.
But
Very.
to me, it just when when $100 million flows into the system, it's just going to be exponential growth. Let's just say we get our $10,000 Ethereum, and Richard has that 171,000 ETH. That's $1.7 billion. So I mean, he has just pretty much unlimited cash to buy up anything anyone sells, and anything that anyone sells into the OA buying, all those coins are going to be removed from the market forever. And I think when we get our bull run, I think the next cycle, there's just going to be so fewer coins that it's going to actually be pretty shocking. So I don't know. I'm bullish.
We saw that thing KR posted that, how long ago, like about 12 hours ago, that the Interpol notice has been removed.
Guys, Richard's hands are tied. He can't do anything. The legal considerations of Interpol. Then why would he have done another sacrifice? Why would he have done a video promoting? It's clear that he can make content if he chooses to.
I just think it's the live streaming that's an issue for him. Yeah, sure, he can make static videos, but I don't think he has the ability. Even if he could go and do what he done last cycle, in this cycle, it wouldn't have the same effect, because it's not just Pulsechain that's down. Like the whole altcoin casino just like wasn't open this cycle, closed till further notice. So to go and I mean, he can't travel clearly, but even if he live streamed and debated people, what would he be debating, bro? A down chart? He can't really like promote things the same way. So until he clears up what he needs to do legally, until the markets are better for the altcoin markets, I don't think there's much he can do, even if he tried, to be real.
If I did not believe that Richard Hart was going to somehow, some way come through, as much as I troll him so much, I think I'm gonna troll him to the point where he wants to freaking make me look stupid. Please make me look stupid. But I will troll you. I will troll you to
Some other
death,
guys,
sir.
man.
I'm going to troll
I
you
thought
to
that like
death.
Jimrat Crypto and Corey, I thought that he would never want those guys to look correct for too long, bro, and that didn't work.
No, but they also wouldn't last. That's the difference. I know a Jim Rat crypto when I see one, and he will only last for so long. He's trolling because he's hurting. I'm trolling because I want to win. There's a big difference.
Okay,
It's just a
so like
massive
stamina
difference.
difference.
Because I know the Richard Hart ecosystem ain't gonna like it. But Tron is another coin that has been up and to the right and has not come nowhere close to its all-time low since 2019. It's even better than BNB, but nobody talks about it. Why does nobody talk about it? Well, did you know they have billions of dollars worth of gold for a gold reserve? Did you know the number one used blockchain on USDT that is used is actually Tron? So when USDT came aboard, what did it do? All of a sudden, it allowed Bitcoin to go from like $300 to $20,000. You know how that was done? If you do your research, it was because of USDT propped the fucking Bitcoin price up. So what are they probably doing with Tron? They're probably propping it up so USDT doesn't fucking go belly up. So these are the type of the things that no one ever looks at and pays attention because all they see is Justin Sutton, blah, 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 blah. He did it. And it's like, look at the chain. You can shill how much you hate Justin Sutton. You can shill how much you hate CZ. You can shill how much you love Richard Hart. But the chart stays different. So I just want to throw those two coins out there because they're literally the only two coins I see outside of Pulsechain that does have a possibility to go up and to the right. The main reason because I don't see a single chart that has been up and to the right in all of crypto since 2019. Not a single one. So, that's diversifying in my opinion.
And also
Um,
with ETH,
go ahead.
wouldn't you say that Pulse Chain's kind of a derivative leverage on ETH being
Oh yeah, like Pulse Chain is ETH, so like it's to me, it's like
correlate from that a little bit?
yes, I agree. We probably should, in my opinion. Like I said, it's just an opinion because I feel that Pulse Chain is a leverage trade on ETH. PTGC is a leverage trade on Pulse Chain. You know, that's what we expect. That's what we see, whether you believe it or not, or whether you want to agree with it or not. Like that's probably what's happening. Richard Hart's taking the ETH and putting in the Pulse chain. Like that's no secret. In this community, we just don't want to blurt it out consistently on a freaking tweet and wallet watch. But that's what's happening. So if that's what's happening, let's kind of combat that. And I would say, what's going up against ETH? Like what's consistently beating ETH? We believe Pulse Chain will beat ETH. So we want when ETH goes down, something else that's beating ETH, and that helps us not go down as much. So it's kind of looking at like if you really believe in the Hart's Law and all that stuff, and we see it happening when Pulse Chain goes down, PGC goes down more. When Pulse Chain goes up, PGC goes up more. What about when ETH goes down, Pulse Chain's going to go down more.
Title Pulse Chain needs to do better. Is that the Matty account?
Yeah, so today it was featured on a BSC news account that has 1.3 million followers, and they were like, "What should we cover Pulse Chain?" And they at that one to the at Pulse.com, and then you go on that website, and then you go on that on at Pulse Chain, and yeah, bro, it's just look how that looks, and then you go and click at the Pulse Chain because it looks so legit, and then you click it, and you're like, if you know what you're talking about, crypto, you're listening to that account, you're reading that account, and you're like, bro, this is so
Well,
unprofessional.
it's very that Matt is very unprofessional because that account, the Pulse Chain account, literally threatened to sue somebody in a comment because they made a comment about Richard Hart, and I made a comment underneath that, basically saying this is why you shouldn't be running this account, and he deleted the message afterwards. That's it. Yeah, it's I think
Unreal, bro. Unreal.
yeah, it's a very bad look, very very bad look. I mean, just if he wants to run it properly, I've got no problem with him running it. But like the way he's running it right now is
But that's exactly what Famous just said. He said, "I don't mind him running it as long as he does a good job."
yeah. I just when I see things like I mean, from everyone else's point of view, that looks like the official Pulse Chain account, which it isn't. But if it looks like the official Pulse Chain account is making threats to sue people because they said a mean thing about Richard Hart, then it's yeah. And bro, I'll even say it. Richard Hart himself is terrible at marketing. He like making a post about 1,000 days uptime is not a flex when your chain is down over 90%. I'm sorry, that's not a flex. But like to say that this is superior tech because it hasn't been rolled back, like come on, like give us some reasons why it's actually superior tech. You can't, first of all. But
Wait,
like
by the way, KG even called that out. Did you see KG's tweet? He said exactly what you're saying right now. He said, genuine question for the community. Like, what would you guys give as reasons as to why this is superior tech? And that's
yeah,
like
like
one of the most dedicated builders on the chain.
yeah, like give us an actual reason, a legit reason why it's superior tech. Not this bullshit that it hasn't been rolled back, bro.
In relation to your question, Giga taught me, and I'm not going to like quote him, but he said that Pulse Chain is the only blockchain where you can hold stable coins and not fear of them being frozen. Unlike Ethereum, they can be frozen.
That's correct until you put them on the bridge or on the other side. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, while they're on Pulse Chain, they can't be frozen.
Yeah,
And
but,
so you would just,
but
so like, therefore, I guess like a use case, my use case that I'm considering is that when I do take profits, I would take them out in stable coins and then potentially earn yield and keep them in the Pulse Chain network and then just take cash out as I need to. And then I guess with that being said, Panos, maybe we would just convert those stable coins into something else to bridge them over. Is that what you would do?
I mean, if you're worried about getting your stable coins frozen, then yeah, you would just convert them into Ethereum and then bridge them out.
Oh,
But for like 99% of people, they don't need to worry about stable coins being frozen. Um, in my personal opinion, like they obviously like that is a risk if you're I don't know someone like Richard Hart who's under investigation from authorities, for sure. Or other people, there are definitely people that are paranoid about stablecoins being frozen. So yes, you could keep the USDC, USDT, and DAI on Pulse chain where they cannot be frozen.
could I give
You,
a contrarian look on that? And I'm glad Giga's here because
sure.
I
Well,
don't
that's
think I don't think that's entirely correct
I
to
wanted
an
to come
extent.
up to just make that point really solid,
Yeah.
before you combat it. Yeah, what the point is that basically, if you hold stable coins on Pulse Chain, no individual party can prevent you from redeeming those stable coins on the bridge. If they do, they have to block every single person on the network. So if if an issuer decides that they're going to blacklist us, they have to literally screw every single person on Pulse Chain.
I understand. So they can't individually pinpoint an individual and say you're blocked because our bridge is not connected to their admin keys. That's correct.
Yeah,
That's
that's right.
correct.
so if people are asking the question as to why is there an advantage of Pulse Chain, I think that that's a heavy hitter for me.
But yeah, so we have one piece of the tech that's better is that we are see my perspective of how the tech is better, right? Is that you have the opportunity to run the most basic things of the chain without a third party getting involved, right? And I like the fact that PulseX is from PulseChain. I like the fact that the bridge is from PulseChain. I like that the solutions that we have given to us are benevolent to an extent of there no one's profiting off of it. Provex, no one's going to profit off of it. So its mission is in line with its users because it's very beneficial and it's very benevolent in order for the users to use it. Because the more the users use it, the more benevolent actions it creates, the more benevolent help it does. So I actually think that's the reason why the tech is superior. Now everything else, we haven't updated the chain yet. So how can the chain update itself to be better than Ethereum will? I think Ethereum needs to finish updating itself, and then once it's done updating itself, there will be things that I bet you we're gonna act like the Romans, right? The Greeks, the Ethereum is the Greeks, and we're the Romans, and we're just gonna copy everything that the Greeks do better, and we're gonna add something little twist to it. And I think that's truly our the if you look at history, that's one of the best ways to go by things. It's just copy the good things done by other people and make it better.
I mean, that's what M3's business model is.
So, what does Richard Hart, the founder, say and claim is better and superior technology-wise on Pulsechain?
The fees, the network fastness. Those are a
Yeah, I mean,
couple.
he talks about the fees, but all of that is like very irrelevant. It doesn't make it superior at all. But
Okay.
like from a superior standpoint, I don't
Yeah,
think
like
you.
the tech is the same. It was basically what Panel's saying. It's like the fees, the tech is the same. The validation tech is the same. The swaps tech is the same. Contracts tech is the same. We're using ERC20 ERC contracts. Tech is the same, right? I think that's what you mean, Panels. Like it's
Yeah, that's what
everything's
I'm
the
saying.
same.
Like when I say that's irrelevant, I mean like that's not part of the tech. Just because fees are cheaper and transactions might be a bit faster, that doesn't make the tech superior.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
what my point is I don't think I've heard one thing out of Richard Hart that actually confirms that the tech is better. Now, is that because we're not up, like Famous is stating, like we haven't updated to we're like how many updates behind from Ethereum? So I don't know if anyone can say that the tech's superior until we're upgraded, and even
Got a
then,
quick question.
I hear you.
Got a quick question
So,
regarding the chain. So Richard Hart isn't doing anything to improve it, is it? Is he?
No, he
Nothing.
is. He is. It's just
Is he doing work on contracts for
he's doing
the chain, or
it. So he's throughout. I would say throughout the 3 years there has been work done, but has it been directly to the version of what fork we are? No, he's edited stuff on this version, so he's done things on this version
when
that they didn't do on the others. Right?
and when was the last update and edit?
It was the
How long
fork.
ago?
No,
The fork.
no, it wasn't. It
How
was
long
the
ago?
no. Didn't we do the first one?
My question is how many days ago? How many years? How many months? How
Uh,
many weeks? Is it more than a year?
yeah, for sure.
Is there anyone else that was involved with him on that creating the chain? Look, I'm still fairly new to this. I bought in last May and I'm down a bunch as well, and whatever, it is what it is. So I still want to find out. I
Well,
can't sell.
I tried.
So
We've tried to contribute to the infrastructure, but most of our contributions haven't really gone anywhere.
so
Some people have. I
my
know.
question is, who else is involved with Richard in developing the blockchain? Does anyone know?
I think
we
Or is
know
it just him on his own?
Giga would know. He speaks to people who
Yeah.
speak to him.
Okay. And are they
What's up?
doing anything in the background?
The gentleman's asking if Richard's actively updating the chain or if there's no signs of that.
and who else is developing with him?
Yeah.
Well, there's two developers that we know that are active right now for Richard, right? Plus, I know a UI dev that's actively working for him right now. But as far as like the chain goes, there's been nothing that's like been indicated that they're working on the actual.
Yeah.
The
So
actual
that means
chain. They're all working on
they're
projects.
developing. Yeah. So they're developing on Pulsechain, but they're not actually contributing to the actual contract and code to Pulsechain. They're restricted, in other words, because Richard has full control, which kind of sucks.
They
They're
won't
really
listen.
conservative with their updates for the actual chain itself because it's such a important thing to get right. Whereas pushing out contracts is a lot more forgiving. So I think it's a different level.
Yeah, but I know. I'm not trying to argue. I'm just trying to find out because, like I said, I haven't been in much as long as you blokes, and I haven't dug in to see when last updates were and what was done and how it was done, fucking whatever. So I'd like some information spoken to me so I can hear it instead of try and find it because it's hard to find.
Another thing is too is there's no constructive criticism being taken from the community.
Yeah, that's another issue. I see everyone gets pissed off when one guy gives their opinion and then kind of toxic in the way. Honestly, at this point, I don't know. Like I said, I'm still holding. I can't really sell it. Don't want to. There's no point. I'll sell the peanut. But
So the last
what else can be done? What else can the general public do
I have a
apart from
suggestion.
shilling? Apart
I
from
have a
shilling,
sug- I have,
that's all I had to ask. So just curious because I haven't done much digging. I bought blind because my mates told me to. A couple of English blokes, and whatever it is, what it is. Great community though.
So I
I'll
would
tell you that much.
worry. I would say this, right? Like I would start to like genuinely be a little bit bothered, I guess would be the word. If the Interpol case is removed and we still see the same type of behavior, then I would start to question the purpose. Right now, though, I
So
have
you're
to I
saying,
have to give them the benefit of the doubt and say that there's a lot of things that they have to protect themselves from. So.
but you're saying, if the case gets dropped, Richard's gonna sell everything, extract everything.
No,
Is that
no,
what you're saying?
no. I'm saying
No.
if the Interpol case is removed or settled or whatever, and Richard continues to be isolated and his devs continue to be isolated and less forthcoming as they are currently, then I would start to be concerned. But I have a feeling that this is, and I mean, I've got the word directly that the behavior we see from the development side of Pulsechain is very specifically because there are actual people pursuing the founder of this chain. So, I have to give them the benefit of the doubt because this is what I was told from those people,
Government or
They're all good.
NG?
Yeah, you got to remember,
If
like,
someone
all of Europe is
if someone stole millions of dollars from me, I'd send a fucking private hit team to him. So most likely government and private hit team.
yeah, I think there's good reason to be isolated right now. And like I said, when all the threats are gone and you still and you still would get the same kind of cold shoulder, then I'd be like, okay, well, what's the excuse now? Go from there. But yeah, I don't like the Satoshi, like Satoshi, didn't interact with this chain kind of thing, or I think these are all weak excuses.
Yeah, I don't know what to think about it anymore. I consider this investment as a not loss yet, but as a loss. If you know what I mean.
Feel defeated inside, but the units are still there, but not the fiat.
Pretty much.
Well, at
But
least
guys, room
we know
went dark
that
and quiet.
he is working on those cases with Interpol because the one was removed. The assault in a minor has been removed, so it does look like he is working on resolving those issues. So we'll see. But as Giga said, like if after like if he does resolve the tax stuff and then we just keep seeing the same shit, then there's a serious problem. No, I don't think we need
Yeah, I
anything.
think we're good.
We need money to come in.
Yeah.
I think that's what's missing. It's literally just the money. I don't think from a tech standpoint it really needs anything. I don't like most people don't even care about the tech. This is the thing, right? Like when it comes to altcoins, people are looking to buy something that will go up in price. For like if you're talking about retail, right? Now, if you're talking about like, oh, we want people to come here and start using, protocols and doing this and that, and actually using the tech. I mean, the tech is here. It's just the liquidity isn't. So I think the main thing that needs to happen is liquidity and TVL need to go up. Tech wise, I don't really think anything is necessary personally.
That's good. Well, look, you're kind of wrong about that. Retail don't really care about tech. When they get stuck, like we're in now, this position, I'm pretty sure they'll start to care about the tech because, you know what I
Well,
mean?
well, if you look at just previous cycles, okay, all these new blockchains pop up promising all these different things and all this new tech. Most of them don't really deliver on anything but green candles. Like once the cycle is done, you see the money move out of it and go back into Ethereum or Bitcoin or into stables. And that to me shows that people don't really care about the tech because there are other blockchains out there that do have good tech that looked very promising and then just like fizzled out because the green candle stopped. So I genuinely believe, just from what I've seen in multiple cycles, that the majority of people are not here for technology. they want to make
Yeah,
money.
I understand that completely. I know. I was just trying to be funny. So when you get
Yeah,
stuck, you're gonna have to start caring about the tech. But yeah, sorry, that
yeah,
I
yeah.
got you
No,
for
no.
now.
For sure. Don't get me wrong. I agree. There are definitely people that do care about tech, but the vast majority, unfortunately, or fortunately, whatever way you want to
Yeah,
look at it, are just here for the green
yeah,
candles,
no,
and that's why,
understood.
like,
And this is
my whole thing.
I've been through every cycle.
Yeah, yeah.
That's like where I started off. Yeah,
Yeah, you've seen it, right? So like, but my whole thing with like marketing and promoting Pulse, and I've always said this, is like stop comparing this to other chains, and just instead try and promote the upside potential. Like, yeah, maybe that might sound a bit spammy and scammy, but like promoting it or comparing it to Bitcoin or saying it's better and superior tech to Ethereum, like it's just very dishonest, and most people look at that and don't care or just think, nah, this is scammy. Like maybe just try and promote it in a way of like saying, look, Ethereum done this much. This is a copy of Ethereum. Ethereum's gone up this much in this many years. Potentially, you're at the bottom here of Pulse Chain. Potentially, you could, make some good money on this. I think people care more about the potential of making money than comparing it to Bitcoin or superior tech to Ethereum. That's my personal
yeah,
opinion.
I am a firm believer on the tech side of things, but obviously I can see what Panos is saying. I truly feel it's a sort of flywheel, like a circular wheel, for any sort of ecosystem. Over the other cycles in previous years, the only ecosystems that have survived seem to have found a use case for themselves. And also added a few things, let's say, I don't know, like Polygon, Arbitrum, Orbit, like Optimism, or anything, be it like near or Aurora, or whatever you, be it whatever tech they offer, or like the user experience remains roughly the same. People are signing transactions and clicking approve transactions and sending swaps or whatever. But I think the crux, which Pulse Chain sort of still, I guess the right use of words here would be to become a mature blockchain. We still need to see a few things, like I could name a few things, but like a few things that come to my mind would be, let's say, for example, it's the whole stablecoin movement that happened over a few months, or it was heating up probably like 2-3 years ago. And thanks to the new technology like Athena or whatever other Genius Act Trump signed, all of these factors that contributed to this whole momentum of money being injected or being minted on chain in terms of stable coins. I think Pulse Chain still needs to see like a big, even though we've got like a few stable coins which are natively sort of hatched on this ecosystem, but something that connects really well with like banking institutions, or has a certain onboarding and offboarding sort of vibe to it. Apart from stable coins as well, I feel like something like a lending market or a borrowing market, that's something we still have to see mature on this ecosystem. I mean, we've got an Aave fork, but things being built on top of that, or other protocols, let's say Base and Arbitrum, majority of the traffic is lending and borrowing.
Oh,
Analytics.
there's a fat man. There's a fat man that put his entire reputation on the line and got nothing from it.
Oh,
Like
you got
literally,
$1 billion.
what he got? $1 billion of hex. Fuck,
No,
nigga, he got nothing,
you
bro.
got $1 billion of stables, man.
Right, he got $600 million of actual money, and then it's down now. So it's like, is he really gonna burn his face card for 600 m's? I don't think so.
And he's supposed to pump
He
it
spent
with
a bunch of money.
Federal.
He spent a bunch of money on lawyers. He put his entire like freedom on the line as well. You know what I mean? Like, why go through all of this pain? He could
I
have he
think
could
I
have
think
stole
what you should say,
600.
Almighty. I think what you should say, Almighty, is that he's done it numerous times. There's
Ah.
obvious proof that the funds, and I'm on your side. I'm usually not on that side, Almighty, but there is proof that there are large whales that are willing to put money in without having to take it out. So that's
Yes,
very interesting when you look at do
that
other
never
chains have
happens.
that?
No,
It
never.
does, but no one really talks about it. So it's interesting how we're able, like the way that we're able to present. Like this is what really pisses me off deep down inside is the potential of how together we could present this chain is so at a level that has never been seen before in crypto, but yet it's as if we're content to just show the mediocrity that
Yeah,
everyone
but
else shows,
famous.
or just beat it by a bit.
If we presented this chain the way that we just said, like there's a guy behind a screen that likes to buy and doesn't like to sell, like
No, but we
our
don't have
chain,
to position. We don't
but
have
I'm
to
saying
position
our
like
chain
that.
isn't decentralized.
It
If we
is
try to
though.
push
It is.
decentralization, hold on. If we try to push decentralization as like the what we're about and everything, the only thing that people are gonna come with and say Richard is your counterparty. Richard goes, your chain goes to zero. We gotta
Well,
get through one cycle. If we get through one cycle, that will disappear.
but you
Like
see
no one says
the thing
Tron's
that's
up to
the
Justin
yeah, but
Sun.
the thing that contradicts itself, right, and it makes it look so wishy washy, is that you're saying it's decentralized, but then you name an entity.
No, that's what I'm
You
saying.
name
That's what I'm
someone,
trying
right?
to
You
tell you
name
is
even
that
if it's a
we
persona, right? You
we
still
can't
name
say it's
someone.
decentralized.
He's saying it's not decentralized. That's what
That's what
he's
I'm
saying,
saying.
Famous.
Our narrative and Richard's narrative is, oh, decentralization
No,
code
but
is
wait a
king
minute.
and all this shit.
But it is decentralized. You can't say just because someone owns too much of it, or an entity or group of wallets own too much of it, that it's not decentralized. You cannot know, because
It's
who
a
is
All right,
actually
listen, listen,
profiting
listen.
off of it?
it's
I'm
like
gonna
an
Who's
rephrase
atom.
it.
actually
Yeah, it's
profiting off of the
structured
Let
like
me
it.
system?
let me
Right here.
rephrase it.
Yeah,
Let me
Almighty's right here.
rephrase it. All right. So the code is decentralized.
Yeah,
What can be done
the
is
tech is.
decentralized, but the owners of the supply is not decentralized, not even
Yeah,
close.
but even on Ethereum, like I would argue too to say that, well, what you're trying to say is the liquidity on the chain is highly centralized, and but that's everywhere the same way.
No,
Everywhere
I would
Okay, but
argue that the liquidity isn't centralized. Just the ownership
the
is
ownership, the
centralized.
supply ownership. Yeah, yeah. And then you
Yes,
look at
it's supply
Ethereum, and
centralization.
Ethereum will have like 18 different companies that own insane amount of supply.
Yeah, you
But
can't
in or and
51% attack Ethereum, but you can on Pulse. You could
yeah, and
90% attack a Pulse on Pulse.
yeah, if those corporations came and bought Richard's supply up, I would be bullish, right?
Okay, well,
I'm
yeah.
bullish. I'd rather Richard own it.
When you put up the potential attack vector, yeah, yeah, you're right. Okay, you put it like that, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
I understand.
Personally, I'd rather Richard own it because I know he's not going to dump it on our heads for no reason, when he feels bad, or he needs a tax write off, or you know what I mean. He's not going to be dumping Pulse. So I look at like, I think it's good, but to try to sell it to other people, you kind of have to sell Richard first if you want to sell the chain, and that's kind of hard to do when he's not around.
How can he sell someone that's trying to do OnlyFans? He's texting saying he wants to do OnlyFans.
Hey, bro, that's what I'm
Love,
saying. He needs to make new content. If he made new content, we would be able to remix it up. We would be able to post it. Everything could be relevant. He
you
could be
know,
talking about Epstein list on a video, and we would be able to go viral, bro.
you know what's funny
Yeah, I think
is he posted the other day, like on a tweet that somebody posted, oh, the tier scammer list or whatever, top tier scammer list, and he said you forgot one, it just made me think like, man, this is what happens when you just shut up for like 3 years and you don't try and be in the front of everybody's face. You just kind of fade off and become irrelevant. Like, kind of really hit me. That's probably
But you
what's
have to
happening to
understand,
Richard.
all the big players know him. I just know Richard's gonna pull off a rabbit out of a hat. I know he is. I know in like in 2 years down the line, maybe 3 years, maybe 6 months, maybe when Provex launches. I don't know, but there's gonna come a time when everyone's gonna be talking about Pulsechain and the way he has it designed of him owning so much and how like the liquidity and the way he can pump it down the line. Not today, maybe not tomorrow, but everyone's gonna be drooling. Everyone's gonna be crying, and then
I don't think that's gonna appeal to the big money, man.
but
I
fuck
think
the
yeah,
that
big
the
I
money.
think
big money
Bro,
don't
if
care
we
about
have big
that.
money, that's all
the
that
big money
matters.
doesn't like that. The big money need
Fuck
like
big
this is
money.
why we have to stop. It has to stop being a thing. It needs to
But,
just you need to
but
the
fuck
tech
big
needs to
money.
be no,
Let
but
us get the big money.
the
See,
tech
the
You
needs
know
pro-
to
what I mean?
work, man. I'm
the
sorry, it's been 3 years of the way you guys have portrayed it and saying we need to do it. It's been 3 years of it,
Yeah,
and it's
Fitness is
garbage.
right. Yeah.
You need to try
yeah.
to something new. This is how it works in life. This is the only way you
Look at
succeed in life.
ProveX. Look
You
at ProveX though.
cannot continue beating a dead horse and expecting
So
it to come back alive.
I
Like
think one of the main things, as I think maybe Dylan mentioned, is like the founder has been absent for 3 years. Okay, when Hex was around, the founder was not absent,
He's front and center, bro.
and everything was buzzing. Everything, and even like the people outside of the community that were talking about him, even in a negative way, was still bullish because Richard would then go and debate these people and destroy them. Okay, now what do we have? We have a chain where the founder's been absent for 3 years. Nobody's even talking about it. Like we don't even have haters because no one even cares to talk about it. And then when you look at what's going on chain, you just have a bunch of LARPs.
Bro, our haters are
Uh,
ourselves. Ourselves. I
what,
remember a
yeah,
day the
but
Bitcoiners
look
would
at
come in here and argue with us. Like
yeah,
now
yeah,
we're
but no,
arguing
no
with
one's coming to
ourselves.
argue because everyone's looking and being
I
like,
know.
"What? Who's there to argue
Hey,
with?"
y'all remember
You
the
have
last time that I got like the sentiment from other people in crypto about Pulsechain, and they literally told me that Pulsechain was old. Like they were like, that shit's still even around. I was like, old bitch, we.
Our fourth year cycle is coming up now, so we've been around 3 years. So this is it, boys. Buckle up.
Yeah, see, that's what I mean by the whole ecosystem maturity. Like, some people feel in their psyche that, oh, it's not, we're still new. But if some narrative, it's already starting to creep in that we're getting old or it's still alive.
no. We need better leadership, unfortunately, like from Richard. And I think that will come once his legal issues are cleared up. But it's what it's left. Him being absent, what it's left behind is not a good look from the outside looking in. Like there's like people are looking and like what like let's have a look. What do we actually have here as far as like any kind of like leadership from any person in this chain? Like there's nothing really going on that is going to spark any interest for people to come and even like debate, even if it's in a negative way. Like no one cares. But even if Richard was here, even with all the negative stuff, you can use that to market the chain, and he could turn that around and debate people, and just like he used to. And it's just that's not happening. That's not a thing.
So maybe
Every
that's what he
single
wants from
whale,
us.
every single whale on this chain has done nothing but sell and bridge out. Like no one's using their money to build anything or to do anything. All right, some
Liberty.
of them are validating, cool, but like no one's doing anything. And then you've got like the quote unquote KOLs that are launching pump tire shitters and trying to tell people that they're going to change the chain. Like, what the fuck is going on here, bro? Like, this is embarrassing. Like,
Maybe
it's
he wanted
literally
us though.
embarrassing,
So
bro.
Panos, maybe he wanted this hockey stick. Maybe he wanted a period of a long period where he's not going to be
Well,
around.
yeah, it's all
So
five D chess, sure, yeah, it's all 10D
no,
chess. Yeah,
no, but
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 wait, I'm
the
not.
thing
bro,
that he
I'm not
maybe
gonna
wants,
he
lie
wanted
he
to
though.
wants.
round trip his bags. Yeah, maybe he wanted to round trip his
Hey,
bags.
Penna, Firewall did that,
Yeah,
and he got absolutely body destroyed, raped.
What did he do though?
Yeah, but
He
he
put.
built a fucking
He built a
casino.
casino,
But I
bro.
don't
Who
care.
the
I
Like,
don't
fuck
care. I
did?
don't care. That's not the point. Is that my point is that he injected M's and
No, it
M's
should be.
into a project.
It should be the point. It
No,
should
because
be
if
the
it was a
point.
meme coin and he did that, we would be
hold on,
lit, right? Wouldn't we be
It's still
happy,
not
hold on,
beneficial
hold
for
on.
the chain. It's beneficial for people's
So
pockets,
there's the
but it's not
thing, like
beneficial for the chain.
bruh?
what he built
So
was
hold on,
hold on,
is Pepe
hold
not
on.
beneficial for ETH,
Bro, pdai was more than the way you're looking
bruh?
at it. Then pdai was more beneficial than this guy pumping his stupid coin.
It was.
So the thing with Firewell is, and maybe he actually believed it in his head that it would bring adoption to the chain. But what he built was a casino, a gambling site where most people are going to lose their money. Now, how does that bring value to the chain? Maybe if it was adopted on other
Well,
chains
it
and
brings a
people saw that it
tool.
was on.
It brings it like normies. If I want a normie to gamble on a platform, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
but it's not like I don't think an online casino is good for a chain. I really
Well,
don't.
I
not
think
these
it's
Like,
better than
prices.
not
Not
having
these
it. I think
prices.
it's better than not having it, brother.
Yeah, but at these prices, see if at the price if the chain was 1,000x higher,
Yeah,
I say there's going to
yeah.
be a
The
lot
thousand
more
okay,
X higher
but
people
traction.
will be going nuts.
so well, let's look at what Firewell done and how he went about it. Okay, so he built a platform. He maybe he thought that it was actually going to bring adoption. So he artificially pumped the meme coin that he built with the name of the platform, which was X Game. How did he pump that? Did he put his own capital into it? No, he pumped it with his other coin, SolidX. What did that
Yeah,
do?
but he
So
had the
here's what,
liquidity. That was his capital, basically.
yeah, but what he done was he destroyed the price of SolidX, where people are holding that token, to pump X Game and convince people that don't worry, guys, the money's going to flow back into SolidX after. So keep holding. The price went from $9 to 20 cents of SolidX. Okay. Now, sure, he made a mistake, but what did he do after that? He said, "You know what, guys, I'm done until further notice. I'm out." Is like.
Yeah,
I
and
think
and
he
he
But
went
that's
about
what
it
no
the
no
wrong
no no
way.
no no
and
no.
he
But that's what
LP'd it
Richard
in the
did.
background, and he LP'd it in
Nah,
the
nah, that's what
background too.
Richard did,
He
bro.
LP'd
That's
it
what
in the
Richard did.
background too. Don't
Richard bought
remember.
the
Don't
top of
forget.
ETH and then
He
disappeared
got he paid himself to
because he
do that
fucked
whole
up.
volume. He paid himself to do that whole volume
Yeah,
too.
whatever,
Remember that.
famous, bro.
Oh yeah,
Richard
whatever.
did
He
the
made
same.
money.
Yeah, bro.
But Richard is working. I know people don't want to admit it. The guy is working in the backgrounds. It's getting built.
Ali is Richard Hart's biggest cheerleader, bro.
No, but it's not.
He's got his pom poms out right now and his little skirt dancing in his bedroom.
Nah, but bro, you have to be kind of reasonable. And you have to kind of think of it in an objective point of view. The guy's been speaking and preaching everything he wants to do, what he wants to build, and he's nearly there. I think he's about 70% there. Another 30%, whatever. If that's a wallet, if that's a fucking exchange, God knows what it is. When he finishes everything and layers everything up with this Provex and Pulsechain and Hex and everything he has, I think it's gonna come a time where like people are like you can't fade it. Same way they couldn't fade Hex when it was going up to 55 cents. The whole world was talking about it. It was up. It was everywhere. All celebrities, every fucking cunt. People sneakily had it. People sneakily sacrificing. Obviously, if they're not holding now, God knows what they're doing. But you have to understand when this shit will go, it's gonna go, and it's just patience. You know, you have to just stick with it. We have nothing else we can do. Just sit there and just wait. But everything will be good because everything's looking very good.
Oh, I remember what I was gonna say. This community is like smart, but they're also some of the biggest retards that ever existed, and they love giving money to the very wrong things that would actually benefit them. So, the solution is there is no solution, right? Like you guys can keep making and building things, and I think that's good, and I think you should do it, but ultimately you need to get rid of the thousands of people who continuously make really poor decisions on this chain.
Like, what's the reason for them to buy it? Like, they look at the on-chain activity. Is it on any central exchange, or all those sort of things? But like, let's say for example, even like, I think Richard was talking about like $1 million marketing budget or something. Like, give me, like, literally give MPEX like half of that, and we'll have Pulse chain on literally every central exchange there is, which is literally like 50% of the battle won.
We don't
Because
nah, but see that's what Richard doesn't specifically want. He
well,
doesn't want
well, then again,
centralized
it's like,
exchanges to hold like maybe in like a couple years when it's done 100x, but he doesn't want them to dump when he pumps it.
but who's going to dump it? Like, that's the
Centralized
thing.
exchanges, bro. If you
He
give
wants
them coins
Coinbase.
and they
He
No,
pump
wants
it,
Coinbase.
they nuke it.
yeah, they nuke it, but then again, how much liquidity is like you provide to them? Like, let's say for example, if I were to go talk to KuCoin or Mexi or somebody else, like they'll have an integration or like a listing fee or something if you get to the right channels, and if you make a good deal and stuff, like they'll have a like X amount of liquidity or whatever, and it
For sure.
depends. Like, some exchanges are good to work with, some are bad or whatever.
But
But
brother, that sounds
the
good to
point is,
us. But Richard's a billionaire. He doesn't want his chain to be adopted by centralized exchanges at all, or else he would have been putting in the legwork to do so. He wants them to
I
acknowledge
don't know
us.
where I don't know about that sentiment, because I see him replying and trying to get attention
Yeah,
from a lot of
yes, for
people who are
acknowledgement, but
founders.
not for because if he actually wanted to conversate with them, he would get their emails, he would get their direct actually talk to these people, and then OTC PLS for stables, bro. He would have done that years ago if he wanted to. He doesn't want to. That's not his model at all.
I don't know. I wouldn't take that as gospel, but
Bro,
like
he
they
hates
choose to do it.
centralized
But
exchanges with a passion. Why would he let them hold his coins?
yeah, but then that's irrelevant to the conversation, the performance of the chain, because like
No,
regardless
it's
if he likes
not.
them or not,
Because
like
we don't
that's what
need
exchange
exchanges to go
creates.
up.
What? Sorry,
We
what
don't
was that?
need an exchange to list us to go up
I would
at
say
all.
it plays an important role. I would
I
say
mean, yeah, for sure
accessibility
it
is the only
could,
thing.
but
Like in a very
if that's
broad.
not what our model is, then why would we keep pushing for that? It's like the BTC thing, where it's like
Mhm.
crypto is supposed to be cryptocurrency is supposed to be ours, and we were like, please banks, ETFs, please buy it and list it. Like that's not what we wanted, but because we were like, damn, we want the thing to pump, we just did it. So we want Pulse to pump, so we're like, exchange, come on. Like,
Yeah.
no, that's not what we want. That's not what we're here
See,
for.
I think, yeah, there's a lot of like several different sort of concepts here being mixed together. But like overall, I think the crux of the situation is that we want price to go up, right? And there's a few select metrics or a few ways how the price go ups. And number one is obviously visibility, right? The more you're visible, the more people know about you, people who are trading or people where liquidity flows back and forth. the more presence you have over there, like the better off you are. Sure, like I don't know of what the pulse chain model as such is. I think it was like the narratives have changed over time, but then again, it's like a free for all sort of blockchain. You're free to build whatever as on any other chain. But like he's not opposed to him, like them being listed or pulse chain being listed on a central exchange or anything of that sort. I think it's just his focus. I'm not too sure where his thing is, or what his marketing team, or what, if he has one, or he thought it's just one man marketing will do wonders, or I don't know what the story is. But let's say, for example, a listing fee for like you ready to pay KOLs. You're saying like, I've got $1 million bounty or a $2 million bounty that I'm ready to pay and award to people who give me good ideas or execute good strategies that'll help get us on the map, or just get more eyeballs. The tablet thing was one such strategy, was to basically get more eyeballs and more attention to Pulse Chain. But that did not directly correlate or relate to or equate to people onboarding into Pulse Chain. We didn't really see that, because that strategy didn't actually work that way. It surely did get people talking about, oh, what's this logo, what's hex, and all that sort of stuff. But that didn't equally equate to people taking their debit cards out or credit cards out, and or whatever, their banking apps or whatever, and be like, okay, let me go buy Pulse Chain. Whereas if you are like, there's literally like a whole industry setup for coins that are, people basically buy, and their strategies for new listings, and people trade on those and whatever. Like, imagine if you were to list under like 500K, and like for 4 or 5 exchanges, T2 exchanges or tier 2 exchanges, and that alone is combined, like, I don't know, 50 or 60 KOL sort of publicity or marketing combined together. Because each of these central exchanges, they have their Twitter accounts, they have their own telegrams, they have their own like sort of newsletters or whatnot. One event of listing gives you so many, let's say, viewership, not only on Twitter, but on Telegram. You generate backlinks for SEOs on Google through their articles being published. So there's a lot of behind the work things that happen when, we're not really giving them or like entertaining them or have the intention for them to be our market makers, because there's already a market already sort of semi-established, which is Pulsex on Pulse Chain. But that is not a big problem. Our big problem is just to get more eyes on. So if you were to spend $1 million or $2 million on KOLs or some other strategy, or buying tablets or whatever, let's say 500K just allocated to signing up 6 central exchanges which have a good reach, and and I'm sure there's plenty of people in our community who have the connections or the charisma or the social standing, or be it whatever, to actually reach out to these people or make a foundation together or whatever. Just like 2-3 people working together to actually benefit, not like scammy vulturous people, actual people who want to make change and want it quick, and they're not waiting for other people's sentiments and stuff. So 500K goes towards that. And this is just hypothetical. Everything's just hypothetical. Yeah, 500K goes to that, and 500K for the liquidity that they want. Like for, let's say, we just start off with like Pulse Chain, Wrap PLS, and maybe Pulsex, and then later on, depending how the trade goes or whatever, like incentive and hex could be introduced later on. So this, let alone, would have net benefit on the ecosystem. And this is not even counting like let's say signing partnerships with I don't know, like on-rampers like Palapay or Mount Pelerin, or people like that who have no KYC on-ramps and off-ramps up to a certain amount, and they have 0%. Like if you, let's say Mount Pelerin, if you were to cash out from those guys, and if you cash out in Swiss francs, you pay 0% fee. So imagine like a whole, and if you were to just send out like an email to them or reach out, like anyone can integrate with them. But on a business or a foundation partnership, if they're looking for people, and if we were to approach them in that way, like, hey, we've got this ecosystem, here's like 60K or 50K, and we want like a direct on-ramp to Pulse Chain. We'll make the bridge for you, even if you don't have to, or whatever, like XYZ. Just get the damn Wrap PLS asset on your order book or on your widget. Now you opened up like a whole European market where people would prefer or even can route on ramps to Pulse Chain with 0% cost. Like you pay $100, you get $100 of USDC. Like it's not like you pay $100, you're getting 96 or 90 or 87. No, you're getting 100. So like imagine that narrative picks up, which I think is trying to be done with Provex, because zero knowledge P2P, ZK P2P was a good model, and it's a fairly successful model. Like even on that front, let's say another strategy, like with 100K, just literally 100K worth of US dollars, you make a zero knowledge P2P liquidity pool with wrap PLS or USDC or whatever, or you just make a USDC on ramp connecting Pulse chain to zero knowledge P2P. And that's it. Like, you solve your problem where that liquidity pool auto balances itself. People make fees on it. Plus, you solve the problem of KYC on ramping and off ramping. But then we have to go to the whole route of, like, I don't know what Provex is going to be, or what they're thinking. But that's pretty much like what could have been done instead of like doing another sacrifice. But then again, there might be another game plan strategy behind that. So I'm not aware of that. So I can only speak of things which I see or which can be done, which I've seen being done. And solutions aren't that expensive. And it's just like, because everyone's just working in a silo on this ecosystem. Everyone's different. Somebody releases something, people like fight. There's so much infighting and like, whatever, mudslinging or whatever you call it. So there's not a lot of cooperation and stuff. So hence I meant like this is a free for all sort of chain. And what gets attention, let's say Liberty Swap or all these projects that have come out, which are doing very good, they've solved a real world problem. But like they wouldn't be as nearly as successful if Richard didn't endorse them. And so Richard is continuously endorsing projects like, let's say he just endorsed another project, which is a paying on ramp, which is basically everything till date, Provex and all that stuff. He's just looking for more ways to open up cash injection coming into the chain. So he obviously recognizes that as a critical point which needs to be worked on, and all his efforts are going into that direction. And Provex also is basically proving that in that sense. So connectivity at the bottom is very, very important for Pulse Chain, not just because it's like people want to move around, but because other products like a credit card operator or Stripe or whatever, they want to build on Pulse Chain. They want to introduce something, but a bridge takes 40 minutes. What is the other option? Like, are we connected officially to Base? No. I mean, we've made a bridge from Pulse Chain to Base, but that's also just like, Pulse Chain core assets or whatever. But like institutionally, like if we were to attract something, we need more roads, So that's that's basically what I think. So like Richard has a lot of money, he's raised a lot of money, he's got brains to do it, but I think because he's made this blockchain, and I think it was a little bit of a learning curve for him as well, citing just only his comments about like about infrastructure and like how a blockchain should function or whatever. Partnership and cooperation obviously is a big part of it, and him being absent for X amount of years for whatever reason, I don't blame him or I'm like bagging him, but he might have his reasons not to come in front of a screen and rant away or chime away about his project or whatever. And that's that. But then again, in his vacuum, as to say, Panos is right. We've only had like sort of pump tires, which was like this really big sort of narrative that was seeing a resurgence of trade and volume come up on the chain. But apart from that, now we're looking at the next big shiny thing, which I think Provex is going to bring something. I hope it works as intended, because then we're going to use it. MPEX is going to use it to build something as well. But yeah, I mean, that's how like I think Pulse Chain sort of state of affairs is at the moment. Like, even let's say I was just mentioning connections and connectivity and bridges and stuff. Like the big major players and the biggest players in the ecosystem of bridging and interoperability are Chainlink, XLR, Layer Zero, Via Labs, and Circle Group, which is USDC. And these are the main people or the channels that are moving all the money around. There's nobody else. There's only like 4 or 5 people who are basically moving all the crypto and all the assets around. And that's the reality of it. And let's say, for example, Layer Zero, their charge, as to say, to help a blockchain or combine a integrate a blockchain, is about $250,000 a year, which is a steep bill. A foundation might be able to afford it, but then having all our assets, like how we have EUSDC coming in from Richard's Bridge, and that is the accepted USDC standard right now, Pulse Chain. Imagine if XLR, like how on other chains, has Axel USDC. So after 3-4 years of paying them like over $1 million or so just to have that like sort of bridge open up, like we are held hostage, or like a chain is held hostage to that bill every year. And if you don't meet that bill, they cut you off. So, that's like a slippery slope that I think Richard didn't want to go on. And then like, let's say for XLR, they're pretty much in the same sort of bracket, but their like charges are about like 30 to 50 grand a month. And that's reoccurring. So like, that's also a steep bill. So yeah, so USDC obviously is not going to recognize Richard or the internet like group, or they're not going to be like, okay, Pulsechain is our next blockchain that we are sort of activating native USDC minting and burning from tomorrow. So that's not going to happen in the near future. But there are other solutions out there. So the combination of all of these sort of factors, from like connectivity, institution, production grade RPCs, like a lot of other things like price feeds, like oracles, just a mixture of things which people take for granted on other chains. If I were to go on Base or Polygon or Arbitrum or Avax or whatever chains say or whatever, I don't have to worry about any of these. Like literally here, after like if I have to make a gaming project, I have to make like a good sort of DEX, which is like, I don't know, like a step above from like V3 Uniswap. Like if I want to do like I don't know, Meteora fork or something like that, or something that has like the capability of doing like actual trade. We don't have production grade RPCs here, so I have to run my own node and like do all that sort of thing. So there's a lot of barriers, not just for entry for user flow, but also for builders as well, and that still remains like valid. But that is the state in which the builders are building, whereas that's also one of the reasons, regardless of like financial incentive, there's a foundation be like, hey, I'm waiving money, like here's 15 grand or here's 20 grand, make me something simple and small or whatever. Or like, hey, you're building something like high impact protocol which would actually bring in like millions or billions, here's 100 grand. Like there's, even if that is not happening, then builders are like, okay, what is my other incentive? Is it easy to actually build on it? No, I have to build a I have to run a node myself first. I have to like do these RPCs and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, so there's a few hurdles, and that's probably why it's taking so long as well to have anything new being built on the chain. Hence we see a boom of like tax tokens or anything of that sort, or protocols around that, because that's fairly easy to put. Well, I wouldn't say easy, nothing's easy, but then it's fairly, in the grand scheme of things, a lot less complicated to put together than any of these bigger projects, has to say.
So I was missing for the beginning of this conversation. So what are we talking about here? Like exchanges, good versus
Oh, I
bad?
was
Like,
saying Richard doesn't want Pulse on an exchange at all.
well, I think he does, but I think he wants it there. He wants it on the tier one exchanges, which is very unlikely to happen.
But wouldn't he
I,
want it post pump?
well, here's the thing, right? Like we've seen him obviously shit on exchanges, but then we saw him after the SEC case, like actively like tweeting at Kraken, Binance, Coinbase.
Hmm.
And then we saw him go the other way when he got no response. He was like, well, this Provex cuts out the exchanges. So he's been a bit wishy-washy on the exchanges. But I think overall, like if someone said to him tomorrow, hey Richard, I'll click my fingers and Pulsechain will be listed on Kraken, Coinbase, and Binance. Yes or no? You think he's going to say no? It's
I
good
don't
He
know.
definitely
exposure, right?
didn't. He definitely didn't. It's in their best interest. So it's like, okay, you have this thing, right? And you give it to a company, okay? It is in their best interest to sell it to their clients so that they can make money off of it. Like it is now another marketing venue, or avenue, or whatever you want to call it, right? Like if we got this on Coinbase, it's in their best interest for people to trade it on their exchange, and it's in our best interest to have that symbiotic relationship so that we onboard more users. Like when we had OKX, Richard wasn't complaining about having OKX. He complained when we got delisted. Like that was a great onboarding tour for China, for Asia.
I think that one of the key points of being on exchanges is just the ease of access versus using a bridge. And like most, like for example, right, like if there's a coin that launches on Solana and you don't have Solana in your wallet, you could go to like every exchange that exists and buy Solana like very easily. It's just very easy to access. So I think that is an important part of like why exchanges do matter. It's just like in a bull market,
when you've got these KOLs talking about this coin and that coin, the number one thing that people want to know when they see those tweets, if they're following Crypto Wendio or BitBoy, and that's a bad example, but I'm just using these as examples, right? When these like mainstream KOLs are talking about, they're being paid to talk about a project, the number one thing people that don't have that coin want to know is, what exchange can I buy it on? They ain't trying to hear, how do I bridge into this chain? Right? That's like the last thing they want to do. So like when it comes to Pulse Chain, I think that if there was exchange listings and it gives people an easier way to onboard, I think that would help the chain.
But I do get a lot of people when I have to explain to them why they can't buy it on Coinbase. They think that's pretty cool. Like they it opens their brain up to this like world of possibility. Like people don't understand what decentralization is. I don't give a brother. Like, man, how do I buy this dog coin and make 2 times my money? That's what they care about. So it's like,
Technically, you can buy Wrap PLS on Coinbase right now.
oh, on base.
What?
Coinbase wallet, right?
Yeah, they came out with a thing where they integrated with Aerodrome, which is the main DEX on Base. So any liquidity that's provided on Aerodrome for any token, it automatically gets picked up by the central exchange, and you can trade it. Obviously, depending on how the liquidity is. That's one way, but that's still like on-chain liquidity. That's still not like in the custody of Coinbase, as to say. But that's still something there.